It's Thanksgiving time, the holidays are here, pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin. Speaking of pumpkin, we'll be making pumpkin sourdough and we'll be using the latest and greatest Sourdough Sidekick. If you guys haven't seen our latest update video, this unit is very close to our final product. I'd say it's about like 95% of what you backers will be getting. There are maybe a few little tweaks, it's maybe a little glossier than what you'd be getting, but it's very representative of what you guys will have in your home. So I'm going to set it up to have 300 grams of starter ready for me tomorrow for my bake, and I'm going to do that in auto mode. I'm going to go ahead and choose auto mode here. And then I'm going to set the goal day for Tuesday, which is tomorrow. And then I'll just have it be ready at 2 p.m. Set this to 300 grams. Then I'm going to add my seed starter. So I'm going to grab 14 grams of my active starter. Remember, 14 grams is about a tablespoon. It's kind of hard to do this backwards. So since we're just getting set up, we need to fill the water tank and fill the flour hopper. Remember, you can take the flour hopper off and clean it if you need to. I'm gonna go ahead and load the flour in as it is. So we filled our water, our flour. Here's a little summary of what it's going to do. And then I'm gonna go ahead and hit start. All right, we're all set up and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, the first step of our recipe is going to be straining this pumpkin puree through this cheesecloth, but we didn't have any cheesecloth, so we subbed in gauze. We read online that gauze is a good substitute for cheesecloth, but we didn't have the right size, so we'll see how it goes. So I'm just doing a pretty large amount. There's 2 separate places in the recipe that uses pumpkin puree, so I'm just gonna go ahead and strain it and then I'll weigh it out. So I'm trying to get the moisture out of the pumpkin puree to keep the bread dough hydration levels at a predictable level. We got a good amount of moisture out of this pumpkin. So in this first step, I'm going to add 100 grams of our sourdough starter, 200 grams of our pumpkin puree, 500 grams of white bread flour, 180 grams of warm water, 30 grams maple syrup, a pinch of turmeric for color, and a pinch of cinnamon. Next, I'm going to mix our dough around until a shaggy dough forms. Next, I'm going to take our dough and knead it until a uniform ball of dough forms. I just washed my hands. Okay, so now I'm going to take the dough and put it back in the bowl and let that rest for 45 minutes. So the next step is to get our dough out of the bowl and then sprinkle the salt over it and knead it until it becomes one solid ball. So I'm going to take our dough ball and put it back in our bowl and then let that rest for 30 minutes. So our next step is to gently place the dough onto the counter and then do a round of stretch and folds and then put it back into the container. So next, I'm going to take our dough and then place it seam side down back into our bowl. While our dough rests for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and mix up our filling. In our filling, we have 50 grams of the strained pumpkin, 100 grams of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 15 grams flour, a pinch of nutmeg, and 60 grams of crushed pecans. So we're gonna let our filling sit until our dough is done resting, and then we're gonna add it into the dough. Okay, now I'm going to incorporate the filling into the dough. So I'm going to put half the filling in and then fold it all together and then do the other half. This is really messy, but I'm just going to try to trust the process. So I need to do stretch and folds, but I can't really find the seam, so I'm just gonna try my best. So now we're gonna let it rest 1 to 2 hours. So I did several more bowl folds off camera, and there was about an hour between each of those. And now we're moving on to pre-shaping. The dough has become much easier to work with, and as you can see, it's rising pretty well. Now I'm going to cover it and let it rest before final shaping for about an hour. It's been an hour, so the next thing I'm going to do is prep our proofing basket and then do our final shaping on our loaf to place in there. It's now looking a lot better than the mess it was earlier. So it's the end of the day, so we're gonna let it cold proof overnight and we'll see you tomorrow. So our bread is proofed in the fridge overnight and now it's time to bake. I pulled it out of the fridge about an hour ago to let it warm up before the bake. The pan is pre-warmed and we're gonna score it and get it in the oven. It's been 30 minutes and we're gonna uncover the bread. So our bread is done and it looks awesome. We did have to pull it out after only 10 minutes of being uncovered in the oven after the 35 minutes covered, because it was starting to burn on the top. So if you're making this at home, be careful, just watch your bread. But it looks good and it smells good, so let's cut right into it. It's very good. Very tangy, sweet. Has a lot of good flavors. You can really taste the cinnamon. We did do the full 16 to 18 hours overnight, and so it's not overly sour, but there's definitely a good amount of sourness in it. It's really soft, doesn't taste underbaked at all. All right, this would be a great loaf during the holidays. It was a lot of work, but I think it's worth it. It's super tasty, super seasonal, super delicious. If you want to see more sourdough content, if you've got some recipes that you're dying to see us try, please let us know in the comments. In the meantime, tell us what you want to see next and we'll keep you updated. We'll see you next time.